It's still unbelievable that this movie was written by two guys in their 20s. This movie had so many deep psychologically impactful scenes that needed lots of emotional maturity to write. For
Not your
example,
fault.
this scene.
Don't fuck with me, alright? Don't fuck with me, Sean. Not you. It's not your fault.
The best part of this scene is it deals with a strong emotion without being melodramatic. In this scene, Robin Williams' character confronts Will about his abusive past, but he does that in a very relatable way so that Will does not feel alone in this horrible experience. He shares his personal abusive experience too.
My father was an alcoholic. Mean fucking drunk. He'd come home hammered, looking to wail on somebody. So I'd provoke him so he'd go after my mother and little brother.
Then when Will gets comfortable, until that time Will never showed his vulnerable side to anyone. So that great moment arrives when Sean breaks through Will's tough exterior, repeatedly reassures him it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. I know. No, you don't. It's not your fault.
The simplicity and sincerity of these words mixed with Robin Williams' raw emotion created an unforgettable cinematic moment. The scene resonates deeply as Will finally confronts his suppressed pain, leading to an emotional outburst of crying. This crying in this scene is also incredibly realistic. After making Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi made a movie that is completely different from that one. Thor Ragnarok was an over-the-top, big-budget Hollywood blockbuster, and Jojo Rabbit is a small, heart-melting comedy drama film. In this film, an emotional moment occurs when Jojo finds out his mom died. But the best thing about this scene is how the director Taika showed this scene. He didn't just bring this scene out of nowhere, he built this scene throughout the movie from the very beginning. He foreshadowed that really well. At the very beginning of this movie, we see that Jojo and his mother are doing some regular activity and suddenly Jojo notices there are some dead people hanging in the middle of the street and they are labeled as traitors. Since he was a kid, the director tried to have his point of view here, and Jojo being a kid, his eye level only reached the legs of the hanging person. The director established his point of view later in other scenes too. He showed his mother's legs in different scenes from his eye level perspective. After some of the scenes, when our subconscious mind has established a pattern, then he attacks us with the final blow with his mother's death scene. He never showed the face of the mother in that particular scene because it was extremely well established before, and that scene made everyone crying like hell. This scene still haunts me. Anybody who still hasn't watched this Indian masterpiece, please go and watch it. This is one of the most effective films of all time. This movie changed so many Indian parents' thought processes. So in that climax of the film, there is this scene where a painting competition goes on and every teacher and student participates in that. This film sensitively addresses the struggles of a dyslexic child, Ishan, and his journey towards self-acceptance. Throughout the movie, they shows that nobody understands Ishan. Day after day, Ishan gets rejected by everyone. Not even his father and mother understand his struggle. After they send him to a boarding school, he completely shuts himself. He stops expressing himself totally. He used to paint a lot. His special ability was painting. Painting was his way of expressing himself, and this was his medium of communication. So when he even stopped painting after he was sent far away from his family to a boarding school, it showed how much he was broken inside. That's why when he watches his portrait painted by his favorite teacher Nikum sir, it breaks him completely in a good way. The portrait itself was important. It showed Ishan's struggles and his desire to be understood. It was his way of saying, "This is me. Please see me." Forrest Gump has tons of emotional scenes. It's a very well written, well acted and well directed film. Robert Zemeckis is a genius for delivering heart-wrenching moments in his films, but the scene that makes every single audience cry comes at the very end of the movie. In this movie, Forrest is a very simple guy. He doesn't want much from his life. Yet still, he led a very interesting life. He's not a very expressive kind of guy and he hardly talks about his feelings. So when the love of his life dies and he only shares his life with his son, he misses her very much. He sometimes goes to her grave and shares his daily life routine with his son.
I make sure he combs his hair,
Brushes his teeth every day, teaching him how to play ping pong. We fish a lot.
Forrest was not a very smart person when he grew up, and he had to face a lot of mocking and insults for that. When he met his son for the first time, his first question was whether was his son smart or not. That shows that he was very much aware of his childhood's horrible experiences. In this scene, while talking with Jenny's grave, he cries with happiness when he talks about his son.
And every night we read a book. He's so smart, Jenny. You'd be so proud of him. I am.
The brilliance of his son gives him utterly pure happiness. He also talks about how dying is a part of life and whether destiny is everything or not.
If we each have a destiny, we're all just floating around accidental like on a breeze. Maybe both is happening at the same time.
His simple way of expressing such deep topics makes the scene work like a charm. If you are a movie buff, then it will be impossible to miss the masterpiece by Steven Spielberg. I have and I will always have this complaint about Steven Spielberg that he can make this level of realistic drama movies, but most of the time he chooses to make over-the-top blockbusters. Schindler's List is about Oskar Schindler, a German industrialist who saved more than 1,000 mostly Polish Jewish refugees from the Holocaust by employing them in his factories during World War II. At the beginning of his life, he is shown as a cunning person who takes every opportunity to make money. He was once a selfish cheat who only cared about being rich, but after finally getting his fortune, he gave it all away, every cent, to rescue the people he once tricked. He sacrificed everything he fought so hard to achieve, and because of that, 1,100 people survived. Yet he still feels he could have done more. Nobody could have done better than what he did. In the last scene, when he breaks down in tears,
One more person. And I didn't. I didn't.
that he could have done more, he could have made more money to solve more Jews, really shows how much he was affected by the hate crime that was happening all over Germany against Jews. When he was crying, one of the people said, "There will be generations because of what you did."
There will be generations because of what you did.
I didn't do enough.
You did so much.
Can you even imagine the depth of this line? He single-handedly saved thousands of people, and for that, those people's generation will live on and continue their bloodline. He still thinks he didn't do enough. This is such a masterclass by Spielberg. Spielberg creates a realistic depiction of that horrible time that takes you to that Germany. Spielberg's use of black and white also has a deep impact on the audience. Liam Neeson's performance in this scene really was the main charm. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please dump a like and subscribe to our channel for more movie and series related content like this. Until next time, tada!